Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. My name is Suraya Hassan and I'm a registered physiotherapist. The topic of discussion for today is looking at tips and advice for maintaining one's general physical and mental well-being during lockdown and post-lockdown. Though lockdown has lifted to some degree in July, we are still living in very unusual circumstances, and for some of our areas, the restrictions have been reinforced again. COVID is still here and will be for a while, and we need to remain vigilant and follow national guidelines. Even though we find that some of our non-essential businesses have now started opening, more and more people have returned to work. Increasingly, though, for those that can work from home, they are being encouraged to work from home. So we now have a working population that's increasingly delivering a day's work from the confines of their own home. So what do you need to consider if you're working from home? And this includes our children who are working online. They are using remote virtual platforms for their lessons and school study or university study. So what do we need to consider? Find a space in your home that is light, that is well ventilated, because that will maintain your ability to stay awake and alert and deliver your best work. Find a space that's comfortable, that's quiet when it needs to be, but also possibly look at the best times to work during the day around what the needs of your children are, so that it's less stressful for you to try and achieve both being at home with the kids and delivering a day's work. You need to be in a space that you can sit in, that's giving you good support, that you've got a laptop or a workstation that you can utilize, for example, a fold-up table that you might have in the garage or your dining room table, whatever suits your particular build height and that is comfortable. Make sure that you take regular breaks. You don't want to be sitting all day because you will end up with muscle and joint stiffness at the end of the day. And if you've got a predisposing problem, that will just get aggravated by sitting for extended periods. You'll also end up with a fair amount of back and neck stiffness and muscle spasm. Make sure you remain hydrated and ensure that you have regular breaks and have your meals on time. So healthy meals, cooking healthy meals is an excellent idea. Even bringing the kids in to support cooking a meal is kind of really, really good for family networking. But if you consider what a normal day would have been a few months ago, if you went out to work, you'd be doing a lot more steps. You'd be walking to photocopiers, going for coffee, up and down stairs, etc. You're not doing any of those working from home. So you have to give extra consideration into how you're going to get those steps up to maintain your physical and mental health and well-being. Today's advice is very general and based on what the majority of us can implement at home quite easily. You would, however, need to consider these principles that I'm about to share and apply to your specific situation. So consider whether you've got any pre-existing medical or musculoskeletal problems. Consider what your fitness level is and what you really want to achieve from any activity. As with anything, you've got to start slow and you build up your activity so that you're doing it in a safe manner. For example, you can't just wake up one day and go and run a marathon if you haven't done the work beforehand, which is building up your strength and your tolerance over a period of time, which is usually a progressive phase plan. So exercise, should we be doing it? Does it have any benefits? Where do you do it? What does it do for you? I'm going to explore this a bit further using the biopsychosocial model, which is an interdisciplinary model that looks at the interconnection between the biology, psychology, and socio-environmental factors. So I'll use this model to further explore the impact of exercise on one's health. What is the biological impact of exercise? You've got the cardiovascular benefit, the cardiorespiratory benefit, which is your circulation and respiration, where you have increased oxygen intake, increased oxygen perfusion, which supports the healing of the tissues and the restoration of the tissues. You've got the musculoskeletal benefit, where you have your muscle strength maintained or improved, and your joint range of motion that is improved or maintained. It allows you to continue with your activities of daily living without becoming weaker and more painful. You've got the mental health improvement, where you're doing something different that's out of your daily routine. But to get the best outcome out of any exercise, you do need to decide what it is that you're wanting to achieve. So you've got to set yourself that goal and identify that aim. For example, is it weight loss? Is it to improve your exercise endurance or your exercise tolerance and strength? Is it maintenance? Or is it just wanting to get out and get some fresh air? clear your mind, get rid of that brain fog, or have a bit of personal me time. Once you've identified what your aim is, you can then choose the exercise that's going to help you achieve that particular aim. But choose something that you enjoy, because if you enjoy it, you're more likely to stick with it, which is going to give you the longer lasting benefits, and you're not going to see it as a chore. So to select an exercise type, if you're an elderly person and what you're wanting to do is just keep your circulation going, walking is an excellent exercise because of the cardiovascular benefit. If you're wanting to look at maintaining your joints, walking on its own is not going to achieve that. You're going to have to take the joints through its full range of movement. For example, if it's your hip, you might want to stand holding onto the back of a chair and taking your hip out to the side and back and forward and back. If it's your shoulder, you want to take it forward and up and back down again and out to the side. And you do a few sets of movements for these particular joints, always within your limits of pain, so that you're not aggravating or flaring up, especially if there's an underlying concern, arthritis, etc. Another excellent exercise for the joints is swimming, because it takes the weight off the joints and the water makes it a bit more buoyant by taking the body's weight, and you can take the joint through the movement without any additional stress. If you're considering strength and endurance improvement, you might want to look at exercises like cycling or running. When exposed to the sun, your skin can manufacture its own vitamin D. Vitamin D helps regulate the amount of calcium and phosphate in the body, which promotes healthy bones, teeth, and muscle. People of a darker skin color takes longer to synthesize vitamin D through sun exposure. Thus, they need to be exposed to the sun for longer, but still maintaining safe exposure levels. This is because darker skinned people have more melanin than people with lighter skin, and melanin helps protect the skin from damage from excess sunlight, which in itself then creates the above dilemma. You do need some sunshine. If you're shielding or you're living with someone who has to shield, you can still enjoy the sunshine by going into your own backyard. If you're not shielding and you are able to go properly outdoors, going out on walks, etc., then that's absolutely great, and you can still do that safely by following the social distancing rules. And you do need to ensure that you keep your skin protected by wearing a good sun protection factor. What is the psychological impact of exercise? If you push muscles to where they are working hard, continuously and repetitively, as in a good period of exercise, then your pituitary gland in your brain releases a chemical known as endorphins. In comparison, endorphins are more powerful than morphine, and morphine is an exceptionally strong pain reliever. With exercise, your adrenal glands, which is near your kidneys, release small amounts of adrenaline and cortisol, which helps the body respond to stress, and it regulates the metabolism and immune system. The combined effects of these gives you a feeling of well-being. It helps tired tissue to recover, and it helps you to recover from physical and mental fatigue. You may have heard people say before, I feel better after exercise, and this is why. The beauty of this is that it's naturally produced by the body, and thus have all the benefits without any of the side effects. What is the social impact of exercise? For this, you do have to go outdoors. But if you can't go far, then your back garden will be fine. And if you can go further, then that's great. By getting outside, you get some fresh air. You're covering different terrain. You're changing your environment. The stimulation of all your senses, touch, smell, taste, sound, this is all found in the environment, and it improves your well-being. If you're living alone, by getting out, you're decreasing your social isolation by seeing others. The power of seeing another person smile, them asking after your health, you experiencing their kindness even at a social distance, interacting with animals, interacting with nature, this all improves your well-being. As human beings, we communicate both verbally and non-verbally. Many of us rely on the visual cues like body language, facial expression, eye contact, etc. And these all enhance the connection with another person, which makes you happy. So, in conclusion, to answer the question that was posed at the beginning of this talk, should we be exercising? Why? What is the benefit? I think we can categorically say that there's multiple benefits that has been identified through this talk, and categorically exercise is going to provide you with that mental well-being and that physical well-being. as well as an opportunity to do more with the family. So you have the additional opportunity to network, to go and learn together, to go and explore together. Learning isn't only confined to a classroom or a television or a book. There's a lot of life skills that can be obtained by exploring your environment. And in so, you're staying well at the same time. Thank you. Lastly, have a listen to the animation by the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy on the road to recovery post-COVID. Gives you some general ideas on how we are presenting post-COVID, and also on how to manage your activities to try and work on getting better safely. Thank you.
If you're recovering from COVID-19, then you might be anxious to know if your recovery is normal. With such a new virus, there's a lot yet to discover. But we do know what others have experienced, like difficulty climbing the stairs, keeping a brisk walk, or keeping pace with other activities they used to enjoy. Whatever stage you're at, the good news is that there's a great deal you can do to help your body recover. Hint, it's not resting all day. Rest is crucial, but too much and you'll slow your recovery and lose muscle mass, increasing your risk of injury. Instead, physios recommend exercising little and often, and just aim to do a little better each time. For example, if you're right at the beginning of your recovery, grab a chair and practice sit-to-stand exercises, or take the stairs each step at a time, literally. Then, as your confidence grows, gently work your way towards something a bit more challenging. It's easy to lose track of your progress, so keep a record. And remember, if you're worried things just don't feel right, be sure to discuss your concerns with your physiotherapist or GP. Your body has been through an ordeal, and it's going to take time to get back to what you were. To learn more about how to help your recovery, click the link.